What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the first episode of the meat prep, and I already don't know what the hell I'm going to show you because if you watched the last video, I said I'm going to try to do a vlog, part of during the day of the week, and this is day one of the actual prep that I'm starting the training cycle today, and I already don't know really what to show you, so I thought, what better way to start this off than to show you what I'm having pre-workout. So I just got back from work, came home and I changed. Unfortunately, I can't wear shirts that say Unleash the Beast to the gym. I tend to like to wear those in the bedroom, if you know what I'm saying. But as part of that, just got home, just got changed. I figured I'd show you what I'm having pre-workout before I go and train. So as part of that, I'm having these little koalas. So what they are, they're like a little cookie filled with fudge or chocolate. And you guys know I'm all about that fudge and that base. But we have these chocolate-filled koalas, and I used to eat these all the time when I lived in Japan. I believe they're from Hong Kong, but my sister is over in South Korea. She's in the army. She sent me a lot of these treats, so to say, that remind me of my childhood spent in Japan. So I'm gonna have a couple of packs of those for my pre-workout. Now, I say a couple of packs only because each pack, which is fairly small, and you should never judge anything off of size, by the way. Not that I have anything to get overly excited about there, but they're very small. They're only like 100 calories each, so I'll probably have like 2 or 3 of those for 200, 300 calories worth of food. It's been a little while since I've eaten lunch, a couple hours, so I am definitely hungry, and I could use the energy. Plus, who wouldn't want to eat fudge-filled koalas? I mean, if koalas really had fudge inside them, I'd probably be roaming the streets of Australia biting off the heads of koalas, but that's another story. And I'm also going to have some Tier 1 Plus. So this is a newer pre-workout from Citadel Nutrition. You guys know I love Citadel. This is a little bit different than their other Tier 1. The main difference just being that this has more caffeine in it. So the traditional black label, as I just made up on top of my head, or the non-plus version, only has 200 milligrams of caffeine. This one has 300 milligrams. So if you like a little bit of extra kick, you can go ahead and use the red one or the plus version instead. I don't really find that extra caffeine does anything for me, at least that's noticeable, but they sent me a bunch of these red tubs, so I'm going to use it. I still really like the pre-workout because overall everything else is the same, like 5 grams of creatine, 3.2 grams of beta-alanine, all study dosages. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to have this, we're going to go and hit deads and actually some squats today too. I've done a deload week the previous week, as you guys saw, but haven't really been lifting heavier numbers. So today's going to be nice because it's a speed day, and we're only really using around 60 to 65% of my 1 rep max, which for this program is actually a little bit less. So I have a training max as part of this program. You guys find more about that as the week goes on. So let's get to it. I'll see you inside the car, outside the gym, maybe, or just in the gym, because again, I have no idea what I'm doing. All right, so first day on the program, and it's a speed deadlift day, as well as some assistance work, some squats, and some pull-ups. So pretty well-rounded day. Now, I felt awful, and I haven't really been feeling too well the past couple of days. However, I really wanted to make sure I got my programming in place. And I don't normally train when I'm sick if my sickness is going to affect my lifts. And since that wasn't the case, I felt good enough to train. Still wanted to make sure that I got it in. Now, it's interesting when you talk about speed work because a lot of people will point out that it's not really beneficial or hasn't been shown to really do much of anything. And I don't know if I can really agree with that because I've found that it helps me, which is probably why you're seeing it the very first day of my training routine. Now, I first really got turned on to speed work doing Lane Norton's Fat, which I was a really big fan of. He had a lot of that work built around the bench press and bent over rows, and I've always found that it's helped me out. Now, it could be that it's just getting my mind primed as far as moving weight in a faster capacity than I'm used to. Or recently with my conversations with Garrett Blevins about programming, he pointed out that the fact that because speed work is such a lighter percentage, in this case somewhere between 60 and 65% on this day, that it actually acts kind of as like a recovery day. So it sets my mind up right to go in and train, yet at the same time, I'm still getting work in and getting volume in, and again, getting that mental benefit of moving the weight fast. Now, this next exercise you saw was some deficit pulls from about a 1.5 inch deficit. A lot of my assistance work, I'm going to try to kind of back off on how severe of an assistance exercise it is. So instead of doing like 3 to 4 inch deficit work, 1.5 inch or so. You'll see the same on close grip bench coming up. After that, I did several sets of squat, with my top set being 315 for a set of 12. And this actually felt really good and moved very well. I thought I could get a ton more reps, and I probably should have started with this my first actual set. Unfortunately, I'm not really used to doing this high amount of volume and weight percentages, so wasn't really sure where to start. But I got my speed work in for the day, and I found that the squats went really well, so this is some numbers I'll have to play with going forward. After that, we moved on to some pull-ups and just some body weight pull-ups. These are really set as an AMRAP set for me, so as many reps as possible. But for this particular day, again, being the first day back on a full training program after having taken a deload week and a week off prior to that, and the week before that, just really setting my maxes. Didn't really want to necessarily overdo it. And again, I felt like shit this day. If you saw my Instagram post, I talked about that a little bit. But overall, I did 3 sets of 12. So the next day here was bench press day. You can see the actual exercises I did here, and this was considered a rep day for me, with the main set being 270 for 3 sets of 6. And one of the things I really want to work on in this case are my pause reps. So this working percentage in these sets are based off of my max of 350, which was not done pause. So going into this training, I was a little bit worried that, I might not be able to do these all for pause, just because there's about a 20-pound difference right now from my paused max to my touch and go max. However, as I mentioned in the beginning part of this video, I'm actually using a training max here. Right now it's around 95%. So because of that and the percentage we're using for the bench press, it actually went fairly well. So 3 sets of 6, all for 270. They felt pretty smooth. This one set here on the last rep, I kind of threw it off a little bit. I don't know why, I just got misgrooved in my bar path. Kind of went more up over my face initially, but still got it up, which really is half the battle. For these particular bench sets too, what I'm trying to use is my actual Olympic lifting shoes. So no more Nikes, which were sliding around on me last time or anything like that. I figure I might as well get some use in these, since I do typically compete in Olympic shoes when I bench. I also use a belt oftentimes for my max sets. I haven't been doing that usually. So when we get into heavier working weights, I'll probably strap that back on. That's the only strap-on you'll ever see me use, by the way. From there, we moved on to some close grip, and this might not necessarily look too close to you, but if you pay attention to my hands, it's about 1 inch to 1.5 inches inward. Called for 4 sets of 6 to 10. This first set I got 8 on, but the last 2 reps were a little bit of a struggle, and because I had 3 sets after that, I decided to just back off and do sets of 6 instead, but overall felt pretty good. From there, we moved on to some incline dumbbell press, or if you follow me on Instagram, these are income dumbbell presses, but just really getting some reps in here. So going a little bit lighter, 70s. I use these for 3 sets, doing 15 reps each, I believe. Might have done 12. Again, my math and counting isn't very good. You can always follow me in Fitocracy as well, or Instagram. I put all my training on there now, so you guys can follow along with me. Finally, finished up with some tricep press downs, and I actually look a little aesthetic here. I am surprised. Looks like I have a big arm and big chest and big head, and if only this really angle translated to other big things in my life, if you know what I'm saying. But 4 sets here, weight, nothing overly impressive. Just wanted to get, again, more reps in, being a rep day. And that was my first 2 days of the training cycle. So, as always, thanks for watching, and stay big. Supposed to be held on March 28th and 29th in Sterling, Connecticut. It's the RPS New England Revolution.